Hello and welcome to our humble tavern. Today we will be telling you a story, a D&D story.
The campaign began with 4 players. Althea, the elven rogue, Cabbage, the artificer fairy, and Ivy as the dragonborn sorcerer, who didn't look like a dragonborn.
There's no explanation for that. We will never know what happens.
And Aliyah, the tiefling fighter. Our story begins in a town square near a poster board. On it is an advertisement for the Witchlight Carnival. In front of it, there's a pink fairy crying due to the contents of the poster. A sketchy-looking elf, a tired-looking tiefling, and a copper lady with dragon scales approach the fairy to see what the fuss is all about. And for a moment, the plot pauses to give the players the mandatory flashbacks and the backstory sequence. They were all children at the time, but snuck into the carnival with varying degrees of lawful means. They had all found themselves in a dark corner of this normally magical place and was faced with a ghouly creature. Before them stood a greyish girl in a pig mask, who they were certain did something to them. The next thing they remember is being outside the walls of the carnival with a feeling of something missing, the knowledge that they had been cursed.
Althea was probably one of the first ones to figure out her curse, as she now slipped from people's minds after only a day or two. She found out that she could remind them of her existence, but to varying degrees of success. Cabbage also found their curse pretty soon, as they suddenly had intense allergies, something that may not seem as bad, but was still creating a problem for this person who worked closely with stealth and weapons in their guild. Aliyah found out her curse the next time she looked in the mirror and saw horrific visions of death and pain. Then there was Ivy, who probably didn't realize her curse for a long while, but started noticing that her luck had plummeted. A subtle curse, and a difficult one to prove. But there was definitely a higher likelihood of something going wrong or bad in her life after that day.
Back to the beginning of the story. Our adventurers are standing around that pink fairy, Cabbage. Although they had never met before, they could bond over their shared trauma and a newfound need to protect this fairy child. Do you want to describe the carnival, maybe?
Sure, I can describe the carnival. Yeah. Now, the carnival that our jolly crew of misfits are traveling to is called the Witchlight Carnival, a famous interplanar carnival of the Forgotten Realms. An interplanar carnival is something that it's quite rare. It's a carnival that travels across something called the planes, and the Forgotten Realms in the lore it's built up of several realms. I don't remember how many exactly, but the Witchlight Carnival, to spread its joy and to get as many customers as possible, it travels across the planes, and the idea is that you can go to the Witchlight Carnival and then wait for it to plane hop, as it's called, and then you can go to a different realm or a different plane, and you can do what you want there, which is a great idea for a D&D session. Thank you.
Very good. I was holding it in. Once they got to the carnival, they were met with a long line of people who were waiting to get in. And they waited all the way to the top, where they were met with a tired goblin who was manning the ticket stalls. That's when the gang realized that they did not have money. At all. It seemed like the goblin was trying to tell them something, but they were way too busy discussing how to get in without paying something. They ended up deciding that they were going to scam their way in. Ivy conjured up an illusion of money and gave it to the poor goblin, who was trying to tell them that they had prepaid tickets from someone already waiting for them. And the man, too tired to protest, just let them in, knowing that they already had tickets. And so they were given their customary toy wings. After this one hiccup, they actually did really well in the carnival. The atmosphere was lively and happy, and when they got their welcome gifts, it was all fun. The welcome gifts were given from a squirrel and a tree ant. Althea got a singular circus ring. Ivy got a collection of baby teeth. Cabbage got a jar of wasps, which, due to her extreme allergies, gave her a rash. And Aaliyah got a bottle of some vicious liquid, which had a big label saying, "Do not drink."
Best kind.
Then they played some games, specifically the Blagenfly.
The Blagenflies! Best one. I mean, it's the Forgotten Realms. It could exist out there somewhere.
Yeah. You would know.
Oh, I would. This bestiary is full of things. God knows.
Anyways, what was I? Dragonflies?
Blagenflies.
No. Specifically the dragonfly rides. Cabbage, apparently also being allergic to dragonflies, just dropped that real quick. She just stood by, just watched. Aaliyah and Ivy were both natural dragonfly riders and did really well. Whilst Althea, she did a critical fail, as you do. And she was thrown right off the dragonfly's back and splattered into the mud. This will be a recurring theme. Take notes, kids. It comes on the test.
Look out for mud. It will get you.
As they walked around the carnival, they saw some teens bullying a mermaid. They had already established the Cabbage Protection Squad, so they decided to create a new division called the Mermaid Protection Squad. Ivy used her illusionary hand to make a threatening gesture. Althea threatened to hit them, and Aaliyah scowled intimidatingly. This was enough to make these teens run away in fear, and the mermaid thanked them. She then kinda trauma dumps on them about her failing relationship with her ex-fiancé, a mime who for some reason doesn't want to talk to her anymore. When the party asks about the pigmask girl, she suspects her fiancé may know something about him, but that's all she has. And that's when the first session ends.
We did it! We got through the first one. It's all gonna go uphill from here. I remember when we started following this unlikely group of heroes, I guess, almost 2 years ago. They had no idea the adventure they were about to set out on and the monsters waiting for them along the trail. It was so inspiring and fascinating to watch them just delve deeper and deeper into the darkness, into hopeless despair. Oh, that's a story for another time. Thank you for joining us in our Celestial Tavern for this first episode of Four Fools in a Fey Realm. Take care out there, and remember, be careful when looking in the mirrors. There might be something in there you'll never be able to unsee. Bye!